I am very excited about today's show because I am going to be presenting Football Manager content in a way I've not done before. Instead of showing you an entire playthrough, I'm just going to pick out the more important, significant points in the game where I felt something needed to be done. What did I see? How do I react? Why do I react in the way that I do? So that is the focus of today's show. It's about a Europa Cup match between Sporting Portugal, or colloquially known as Sporting Lisbon. They have just beaten PSV Eindhoven. Now they've got they're in the quarterfinals. They're playing Lazio of all the teams, and this is going to be the home and away leg story of how Sporting kicked Lazio out of the competition. Lots of things were done before the match, and I hope that you enjoy today's show. If you do, please hit the like and the subscribe button and stay notified. My name is Daljit. Welcome to the show. So the first thing I have to do, naturally, is to go and check how they've been playing the Europa League. So I went into the Europa League stats page to discover what the defensive record was like, and I wasn't surprised they hadn't conceded in 4. The next thing I do is I go and check out how they score their goals. So I went to look for a match where they hammered somebody 6-0. And true enough, the problem would be Ciro Immobile. Now he pops up in the near post and at the far post with the corner routines. And if I'm not careful, he's gonna put us to the sword. So we had to come up with a plan to defend our near post and far post more effectively than we have been doing this season. We don't really concede a lot from corners, but I had to take care of the potential possibility that Ciro Immobile may be too much for me to handle. But I did not choose to man mark him. Man marking Ciro Immobile would have been an issue, right? Because that could have dragged some of my players all over the place during set pieces. So instead, I opted to just add one more player to the near post and one more player to the far post to take care of that threat. I knew that on the day itself, this could boil down to set pieces as well. I mean, if this is a very defensive side, we may not be able to create very much in open play, and we might have to rely on being solid in defense from set pieces and, hoping to hit them on the counter. The challenge I was going to face against Lazio was defending the flanks. The wingbacks are going to get up the pitch. They're control fluid. That means quite a number of players are going to be involved in the transition. Lazio were going to be a difficult side to beat, so I decided to use my best attacking system for FM21 against them. It had already eviscerated PSV Eindhoven when they travelled to Portugal. So my plan was simple. Use my attacking system, tweak it slightly, grab the goals I needed, and then go park the bus. To do that, I would need to modify the system slightly. How would I go about defending my flanks? The first thought that crossed my mind was to convert the 2 wingers on attack to defensive wingers on support and turn that register into a DLP on defense. This will at least give me few more numbers in midfield to apply pressure in the central areas of the pitch so that I could at least deny them easier opportunities to exploit us down the flanks. I don't have a lot of options when it comes to sending numbers into attack, so I had to depend on a simple solution. Just hope that the 2 guys up top can do the job between themselves so I put both of them on attack duty. The moment the action starts, my attention is focused squarely on transitions. I want to make sure that when the play works down the flanks, my defensive wingers are doing the job of at least tracking the opposition wingbacks, making sure that they are not an easy passing outlet. I'm also paying attention to how we release our target man, whether passes from the back can find our target man. More importantly, is our target man applying pressure to their defense? Because if he is, then that's a good sign. It means that my target man advance forward combination will work in this game. 5 minutes into the game, our target man shows what he's capable of doing, applying pressure to the backline and becoming a nuisance that they need to handle. My obsession with some players, well, that can be a bad thing. Because when I saw Ciro Immobile rising up to win this header to release Korea, my immediate reaction was to go and put tight marking on Ciro Immobile, which isn't a bad call. The thing is, it's going to draw more players away from Korea. So what I should have done was to apply tight marking to both players. I started to notice something that could have become a potential issue for our side. Danilo Cataldi was beginning to exert influence at the backline. Now, if Lazio was allowed to start camping in our third, we would have major problemema if Danilo Cataldi was not checked. So I decided to keep that in mind. If that ever happened, our Engash would have to man mark him for the rest of the game. A 3-4-1-2 is a very entertaining system. I take a lot of inspiration from current systems used by Atalanta, and of course some of my older systems that I made in 2003, Scramjet notably. But the one biggest drawback about these systems are the ball playing defenders. When the ball playing defenders go surging up the pitch to link up play or bring the ball out of defense, you could run the risk of being isolated in defense if the ball playing defender loses the ball. So you got to pay a lot of attention to how your team transitions with the ball playing defender, and this is something I kept staring at throughout the match. Lazio's 5-man midfield was proving to be an issue for us, so I had to drop the target man from an attack duty to a support duty so that he would add numbers to midfield, allowing us to have better transitions in defense and in attack. We conceded a really poor goal from a set piece. Naturally, I was disappointed, but I wasn't going to change my tactical plan because of one silly mistake. We managed to score a goal on the counter attack, but while we were scoring the goal, I also noticed that we were still weak down the left hand side of the pitch. It was something that I had noticed, and I didn't allow myself to get too excited by the goal. The next thing that I did after we scored the goal was move Coates over to the right and then put another defender on the left, because our left flank was continuously being probed throughout the match and we had to stop it. Naturally, I was very disappointed when we conceded our next goal of a throw-in on our left side again. So we've already learned our lessons from the first leg. Show up the weaknesses on the left flank, moving Coates to the right kind of solved that problem so we didn't lose by more than 2-1. For the return leg, well, Coates was suspended, so I didn't have to worry about that anymore. So that kind of solved itself. All I needed to do was make sure that I had a really good defender on the left side to take care of things. The second thing was to prepare for the match. So we had attacking movement and defensive shape as match preparation activities leading to the big game. The third part of my plan was to keep my 30-goal striker on the bench and bring him on when the opponent was searching for goals. We conceded a goal early from a set piece. I'm not too bothered when that happens because I have a way of scoring from my own set pieces. We did our homework on Lazio, discovered they don't like to clear their lines very well when they defend the corner. So we placed one guy at the edge of the area who's got a very mean long shot, and well, score was leveled soon after. Our plan was simple: attack them down the flanks, keep their wing backs occupied, circulate the ball, apply pressure, and then wait for the goals to come. I'm normally looking for transitions like this, showing me moving the ball around and not losing it in the opposing third. With the score tied at 2-2, I noticed certain things. I had forgotten to mark Ciro Immobile once again, so I decided to apply tight marking to him. And our instructions also included low crossing. Now, I wasn't getting a lot of time and space to get down the flanks to do those kind of crosses, so I decided to switch it over to mixed crossing, which made a lot more sense considering the fact that I had a target man who was playing up front. And it only made sense with the scores tied at 2-2 for me to use pass into space to push for the third goal. We were now leading on the away goals rule. Lazio would need to score 2 more goals if they wanted to go through. This was the perfect time for us to park the bus and try and hit them on the break. We held firm for the last 10 minutes. Lazio came on pretty strong, but they couldn't get a shot on target in the final 10 minutes. Final score was enough to see us go through to the next round to face Ajax in the semi-finals of the Europa Cup. Well, I have to admit, this was a new way for me to edit a show. It took quite a while for me to try and capture all the salient points and then put them down together so that, you might find it useful. So if you do find it useful, please let me know in the comments below. I would definitely want to know what you thought of this way of presenting it. Now, I didn't want to go into too much detail about the tactics and stuff like that. I'll do that on a separate show when I talk about the Firestorm tactic. I promise I will. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Once again, share your thoughts. And I want to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. You make this kind of shows absolutely it's a lot of fun to do. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.